Well, thank you for joining me for just a few minutes on this Sunday. Hope you had a great Christmas. And as we kind of draw 2020 to a close, it's not altogether surprising, I suppose, that we're going virtual again. And we thought that's best given the circumstances. So for the next couple of Sundays, today and next Sunday, the first Sunday of January, at least for those 2 Sundays, we're going to be going virtual. We're going to be reassessing things, and we'll keep you posted as things and if they change. A lot of people at the end of this year just want to wave goodbye to it. In fact, I heard somebody earlier this year, or read it somewhere, say they were going to stay up for New Year's Eve, not so much to see the new year end, but just to make sure that 2020 actually leaves. And that's the way a lot of us feel, just to be honest. It's been a tough year, and usually this time of the year we spend some time, most people do at least, setting goals and thinking about the upcoming year. But also it's a time for people generally to kind of think back over the previous year. As the year draws to a close, to think back and reflect over some experiences and things that happened along the way. But this may be a year where you say to yourself, man, I don't want to think about it at all. And I can certainly understand that. But I actually want to encourage you today to think about, to kind of force yourself to think about the past year, particularly the blessings of this past year. Now, as I've already said, I know it's been tough for a lot of people, but in the midst of struggle and trial, there's still always some blessings. God has helped us through this past year, and He's going to help us in the coming year. And so for today, I want to spend some time with you thinking about, real quickly, about God's blessings and His help for us, and how important it is for us as Christians to reflect on His help. How as we reflect on His help and His blessings in the past, it encourages us in the present and for the future. It gives us hope. I know you're familiar with that hymn where the hymn writer says, count your blessings, to actually name them one by one. And so as we think about counting things, counting is not just something we do in math, so to speak, but it's a Christian thing because it really is a survival skill. Because when we're in the midst of struggle, when our faith is being attacked and there's uncertainty, when we take the time to actually count, to reflect on the blessings of God in our lives, how He's been there for us in the past, it encourages us, it gives us hope. And so I want to encourage you to count your blessings, to think about how God has helped you through this past year. Just one verse I want to share with you real quickly from Psalm 27, an excellent psalm where David is really, it seems, in the midst of some uncertain times. But even in the midst of this uncertainty, as he's in the struggle, he remembers that God is his help. In Psalm 27, this is what David says in verse 9. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not leave me nor forsake me, O God of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. What a wonderful phrase when David says to God, you have been my help. Of course, this is all throughout the Bible itself, but especially in the Psalms. Over and over again, the person of faith, here it's David, there's other places where the psalmist will say, for example, where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. Or Psalm 46, when we see God as our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And over again, as people of faith are in the midst of uncertain times, they pause and remember that God is their help, that He's helped them in the past, and because He's helped them in the past and because He does not change, He remains faithful, it means He'll help them in the present. And the same thing is true for you. As we take the time at the end of this year to pause, to reflect on the goodness of God and how He's been at work in our lives in this crazy year, it'll give us hope and confidence to face the future. As you think about the help of God, maybe you remember a story in the Old Testament where the children of Israel are called to take 12 stones. God has miraculously provided a way for them through the Jordan. And as they cross over on the other side of the Jordan, God commanded them to take 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel and to set up these memorial stones, which would be a sign forever to the children of Israel about what God had done. In fact, we're told there that there'd be a time that would come when the children would rise up and they would ask their parents, what do these stones actually mean? And that would serve as an occasion for the parents to educate their children, to teach them, to tell them what God had done for them in the past, to remind them of the help of God. Now, I'm not suggesting you should go out into your yard today and to set up actual stones of remembrance. But it is good for us to talk these things out. It is good for us to take the time to share them with our family, to share them with our friends, to actually share with other people what God has done for you, to reflect on His help for you this past year. And that's the thing I want to leave you with today, that God has helped you this past year to arrive at this point, and God will help you in the coming year. As you think about that hymn, count your blessings, name them one by one. That's an excellent practice for you to do today. But I also want to leave you with another hymn where the hymn writer says, "Here I raise my Ebenezer, hither by thy help I've come." You can say that with certainty today if you're a Christian, if you're a child of God. It's by the help and the grace of God that you're at this point today. And the Bible tells us Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May He lift the light of His countenance upon you and grant you His peace. Amen.